WTO indifference to non-eye pollution is the reason for the plague that has decimated the village. If you and Billy can help the locals, maybe you can win their trust and get some information on Dr. Nassif.
For the summit.
Just a show for the media.
I'm not so sure. Her Holiness sounded sincere when I spoke with her in Germany.
A co-dominion with the WTO? Not in my lifetime.
History moves in fits and starts. Obviously, you're too young to remember pre-collapse society. I watched 2 centuries of progress vanish during 2 minutes on the evening news.
Destruction, that's easy. But Her Holiness and Chairman Dumier think they can reunify the planet with a simple decree.
The faithless are easy to manipulate politically. And remember, the faithless are the majority. We should not forget de Tocqueville's insight. If a man does not submit to faith, he will desire a firm, tyrannical shape for society.
It's not too late to reform the Church.
Perhaps. I will find out when I get to Trier.
I don't believe we've met.
Lumen and Saman from the German Shard. My pleasure. I was hoping one of Billy's former classmates would show up.
So, I already got a lead on this epidemic in Old Cairo. Courtesy of the Omar and the Medina, I've got some information about a possible cure.
Personally, I'm not going to waste my time saving the planet until we find out where Dr. Nassif is hiding.
High Augur Chen is a fine seeker. She has a strong heart. But a strong heart often runs contrary to a seeker's purpose.
Do you think Dr. Nassif is still in Cairo?
We have good reason to believe that Apostle Corps' headquarters are in Cairo. This is where she would go looking for help.
Faith in purity. Nothing more is required.
You disagree with the way High Augur Chen is doing things?
Amicably, to be sure. It's mostly a doctrinal dispute that stands between us.
What about Her Holiness? Doesn't she decide what the Church stands for?
Her Holiness and I amicably disagree also. My Shard in Germany has a profound respect for the founding doctrines of the Order. What we don't understand are these recent revisions and reversals that seem to excuse the resurgence through the WTO of blind commercial interests.
You sound pretty upset.
My Seekers and I are most loyal to the doctrines laid down by Her Holiness after the collapse. What we propose, very openly, is a greater purity of interpretation of these founding principles.
What brings the German Luminen to Cairo?
Let's just say that if this investigation of Apostle Corps does indeed uncover technologies for the modification and co-modification of human bodies, I don't entirely trust the current leadership to destroy them.
What are you going to do?
Report the truth to my seekers, to true seekers everywhere. What more would be necessary? You want to hear more? Good. Let me explain how the Order should rebuild post-collapse society.
I'm listening.
Her Holiness was correct in the beginning to describe the problem as one of human growth. Human growth was impeded in the old society. Almost all men carry out the purposes of other men rather than their own, making them feel impotent in action. Bertrand Russell.
So?
So, Russell understood that people are creatures of impulse. The role of political philosophy should be to control the destructive impulses with constructive, creative ones. For example, allow each citizen to direct his own growth.
I thought the Order was a spiritual movement.
A spiritual movement about reconstituting the self, improving the self, finding balance with the world. Her Holiness knows that no balance is possible if the old world returns. Global capital, teratogenic science, universal wage slavery. Have you ever considered what is unique about post-collapse society? Trans-territoriality. Most political entities coexist on a global scale. The WTO has its enclaves, we have our settlements and churches.
You're not the first global church.
The point is that governmental units need not be territorial. The proof is all around us. After the collapse, communication grids came back up before industry. So what has evolved are many global associations incapable of seizing very much territory.
If the Order isn't territorial, why do you maintain an armed guard?
Military power will never vanish. what we hope, and Her Holiness once agreed with me, is that a global police force would end territorial wars and be just that. Police, like the Seekers in the Medina.
But whose police force?
Not important, so long as it knows how to keep order. Seek the way, my friend. Enough for now. Please leave me to my thoughts. I know a little something about this plague. If you go outside, try to breathe through your nose. Seek the way, my friend.